Welcome back, everybody, to the WCS Europe Premier League, and this time, it's Season 3. Oh boy, what a couple of seasons we've had so far, Colaris. We've had an amazing Season 1 and Season 2, and now we're here at the start of Season 3. But before we get into Season 3, let's talk about Season 1 and 2. What a couple of great seasons we've had so far.
Yeah, certainly. Season 2 was amazing, as we've just had that previously. We had the grand finals. And for me, the standout performance there, or at least the thing that is really my highlight, was the fact that innovation went out in the very first rounds of things to NaNiwa, no less. So it was really, really cool to see something like that happen from the very get-go of that final.
I mean, both seasons have been absolutely fantastic. No doubt, we've had the pleasure to commentate on both of them. We've been there from the start, and we're now entering Season 3. I remember MVP's run in Season 1, that dominant performances in the top 8. We had Stefano retire last season. We had Grubby break down in tears through beating MVP. We had Duck Duck cry when he won. And then, as you said, the performances at the Season 2 finals, innovation, and NaNiwa and Scarlet, man, did they rise? Did they rise?
There were so many memorable moments from Season 2. I think it outshone Season 1 in almost every aspect. Season 1 was cool, but Season 2 was just that much better, I feel.
And now we're in Season 3, where it all begins in the round of 32 here. But let's talk about a couple of changes first that have been implemented here ready for Season 3. First of all, the maps have changed. We've got 4 maps out and 4 new maps in. The maps that have gone out, so Neoplanet S has been eliminated out. Newkirk is another map that is gone. Another map on top of that is Red City and Star Station. What do you think about these maps being removed here?
I don't mind it too much. I like to see the cycle of maps out, especially a map like Red City being removed now that wasn't really that popular with the players. You saw it once or twice, but not too much. So I'm happy to see a little bit of a rotation, and we have some interesting new maps, I believe.
Well, Akalon is actually a map that's brought back in again here. Akalon Waste, a map that you all should know by playing ladder, and you've seen it in many tournaments. But the 3 new maps that have come in, if you haven't played StarCraft 2 ladder yet in multiplayer, you may not know them, and we'll learn them together here. I've only played a few games of them. I think you have as well, you said earlier. But the 3 maps here are Frost, Polar Night, and Yonsu. I think I said that right, or something close along those lines. Have you, I mean, you played a few games, but any experiences on them so far?
Yeah, there was only the one, I believe, on Yonsu, I think it was. The fact that people were taking 4th bases in really odd locations, not really getting adapted too quickly to the map. And it'll be interesting to see if those kinds of those plays do come and breach over into the Premier League. But I think these players, now knowing the map pool, will have had a little bit more time.
Yeah, they're really bigger maps too than what we used to playing. Much bigger maps here. There's a lack of watchtowers on Yongsu, I think it is. I'm not sure exactly which one it is. There's a lack of watchtowers. No, on Frost it is. On Frost. It's a much bigger map, and it's interesting. It's going to change the flow of the games, and it really does depend, I think, for a lot of these players, how much have you practiced on them? Because it will be important, because unlike the older maps, the ones that have been removed, scouting patterns, hiding tech structures, all these things were figured out. You always knew where they'd be, but on new, fresh maps, we could see some interesting games here for sure. But talking about some other things, some other important things. Again, $100,000 on the line here throughout Season 3. And most importantly now, Colaris, the points. 10,000 WCS points online. It's it. This is the last chance. Season 3 is the last chance to start getting those points in.
Yeah, it's certainly very important for players like, I don't know, TLO, for example. Him in Season 3, he was really, really high up at the very beginning of the Season 1. Didn't really do so well in Season 2. But now in Season 3, this is his last shot to accrue a lot of points. And if he does, there is the potential that he can try and breach up into those higher tiers.
There's a couple of players just like him, 4GG, who's playing today, who messed up in Season 2, who performed very well in Season 1, is now back in Season 3, outside of the top 16, which is the most important. But a player that is inside the top 16 is NaNiwa, the only non-Korean so far in the top 16. He is set at rank 12, and we're looking to push his points higher. As mentioned, this is the last chance for these players to really ramp it up, to get those points. Because if you don't get the points and you're not in the top 16 by the end of this season, you're not going to play in BlizzCon, which is the ultimate goal at the global finals at the end of the year. And what a pleasure that would be to play there.
Yeah, certainly. There's 1 or 2 external events that do award some WCS points, but it's really the main WCS tournament.
This is the gold mine.
Exactly. This is the big chunk of points, especially even if you get to the Season 3 finals.
Yes.
Massive, massive points on the line.
That's top 5 here at this tournament. Through 32 players that we have, top 5. If you get up there and play in Season 3 finals, which will be played in Canada, in Toronto.
Yeah.
That's where the real points are. But now let's talk a little bit about the scheduling, because it's a little bit different than last season. This season, what we're going to be doing is playing 3 days a week for the first 2 weeks. So for today and the next 2 days, we're playing Group A, B, and C. The following week, next week, will be from that D, E, and F. And then the week after, on the 3rd week, we'll be playing the last 2 groups, G and H. A bit of a different format, but a lot more games in a tighter, compact area.
Yeah, I kind of like it. Having that much to be able to cast in a week's quite nice. 2 days was a little bit of a lackluster week for me, a little bit chilled, a little bit relaxed, but now 3 groups a week for 2 will be quite nice.
It's going to be really fun. So do remember that each day will be starting at 6 p.m. just like now, 6 p.m. local time, or whatever it is right now for you. That's the day, or that's the time we'll be starting on each day. So let's now look at today's group, because this, for me, is, if not the best group of all so far in this round. I feel that this is the best group to kick things off with, and this is the closest group and the hardest to really predict on which way things can go.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of firecrackers in here. Firstly, we have NaNiwa, currently 12th in the WCS ranking system, and after seeing him in the Season 2 finals, eliminating Innovation, even defeating what I would call a little bit of a recent nemesis in the form of Duck Duck, after losing to him in Season 2 in Europe, and then actually losing to him in his first round as well. He's looking to make waves here.
NaNiwa is by far the most performing, the highest performing, the highest earning non-Korean in Heart of the Swarm. There's no doubt. The facts don't lie.
Yeah.
He's ranked 12 in the world at the moment, and the nearest player to him is TLO, which is like 18 or 20, I think, if to be exact. So NaNiwa is just up there, and he's looking very much so to be the favorite within this group, for sure.
Yeah, certainly. And then our second player, Todd, a very, very familiar face to WCS Europe, both on the field and off it here. He's not doing too well in terms of that WCS rank just yet. He has attended quite a few tournaments outside of WCS Europe, but hasn't really made those splash of results. If he were to move on today, that would be the biggest performance for him thus far in terms of WCS Europe.
Absolutely. I mean, back-to-back Premier League now for him. And remember, everyone was very happy that he qualified for Challenge League in the first place, was happy that he got into Premier League in Season 2, and now he's got a back-to-back Premier League status. Round of 32 last season. We'll see if he can hope to improve on that performance today, because it will be a difficult one. But I don't think this group's going to be too difficult for player number 3 here. 4GG. What a name.
Yeah, certainly. I think that for 4GG here, currently sat at 19th in WCS ranking, it would be... what I would say would be best for him is if he avoids Targa and has to play Protoss after Protoss for a while, I think that would be his best shot. He's very, very strong against Protoss in comparison to maybe against the Zerg, but still, he's proved himself in Season 1, not so much in Season 2, kind of dropped out a little bit quickly there in that first group stage, but you can guarantee here that he's out for blood.
Yeah, 4GG, I mean, he messed up in Season 2, but when we say messed up, he had to play from Korea, he had difficulties, and that's something to remember for today's group, is that NaNiwa and 4GG both are playing from their home countries. Home countries, I say with quotations around for 4GG playing from France. And another player, the last player, the most dangerous player I feel in this group, because he can upset any one of the 3 in front of him.
Oh, yes.
Targa.
He certainly can. The wild card, as you mentioned previously, of this group. Targa is an interesting one because he is the epitome of someone rising through the ranks to try and get into, through Challenger to Premier. Targa had to play in all but one qualifier for Premier and Challenger from the very beginning. He played 35 series to try and qualify for Challenger alone. Never mind anything else. So he is a hard-working guy. He really, really wants this.
Yeah, and he's probably the least known within that group, I feel. So we'll see what he can do today, Claris, because he's got a lot to live up to, but at the same time, he's got not too much weight on his shoulders because he is the least favorite to move through this group, I'd say. I think a lot of people predict him to be near the bottom, but I think one advantage that Targa does have coming into this group is the fact that every one of those 3 players have been in the spotlight within the last couple of months, where it's everyone following Todd's progress, NaNiwa being the best non-Korean, 4GG just being the ultimate Terran player, really is a solid, amazing player. Every one of these 3 play weekly, daily broadcasted games that Targa can very easily pick up on. But now it's time to look at the bracket. Who plays who and how things are going to shape up today.
And our first match of the day will be NaNiwa versus Targa. Todd versus 4GG will follow that up after this first series. But as you can see here, standard double elimination, or dual tournament format, I should say, as we have the winners facing off against one another. Losers will fall down to that lower bracket and face off against the loser from the upper bracket to determine that second spot advancing onto the round of 16. Nice and simple. You've seen it time and time again.
Very excited for these games. NaNiwa versus Targa is going to be the first game of the day. This is going to be a good one. We've seen NaNiwa so often against Zerg players in recent times with his Void Ray style, his Sentry style. This should be a good game. And very interesting to see how Targa is going to approach this one. How is he going to play? Is he going to look to maybe, you know, all in this strategy? Has he got something planned to be able to beat NaNiwa? I'm not exactly certain, but we'll find out very shortly as we are about to begin day one of the round of 32 here at the Europe Premier League. And what a great group to start us off.
Yeah, it's going to be damn good. Our first map, actually, is going to be Polar Night, one of our new ones. Ooh. Interestingly enough, during the veto process, they did veto Yonsu and Frost. So the last two maps will be Belshir and Derelict. I can't quite exactly remember which order, but I'm very excited to see one of our new maps. To kick things off.
This should be a good one. I've played a few games on it. I haven't played that many games because I went back to see my family after Season 2. But I've been playing quite a few these last few days. The new maps are very interesting, the way that the base rotations work, on which base to take. And some of these maps are a little bit harder for Protoss players to establish a third base, normally. So I'd expect NaNiwa to be building some walls and cannons to help protect run-bys and any aggressive plays which Targa could go for, because he's known for that. Coming from the Southeast Asian region, or should I just say Australia, and studying Melbourne, he really picked up this very aggressive style. Lots of Zerglings, lots of counterattacks, lots of flanks. We'll see how he can play here, because this can be a good one, or it could be a very fast one here.
It certainly could be. And now, spawning up to the northern position here as our blue Protoss, representing the Alliance in Sweden, we have NaNiwa. And down to the bottom, spawning as our red Zerg, representing Norway and Dignitas, he is Targa.
All right, I'm gonna put it out there that I'm pretty confident in NaNiwa winning this series, but I'm very, as mentioned, interested in how Targa's going to approach this, because we all know how NaNiwa likes to play. Gateway expands.
Oh yeah.
Lots of Stargate play, if not every single game Stargate play, and Targa knows that.
Yes.
So what is he going to do to beat it? Is the question. He's seen NaNiwa beat Tefl last season.
Yep.
He saw NaNiwa beat Vortex. He saw NaNiwa go through many a Zerg player in recent times. He saw him lose to Jaedong. Can Targa now do it himself?
Well, this is an interesting one. There's so many dynamics, as you said, in terms of what Targa could bring to the table. Interestingly enough, as was pointed out recently to me by Spawning Tool, you know, sometimes Targa, against the Gateway Expand, does like to go for 3-hatch before pull.
Yeah.
And that is something that he could do here, because NaNiwa is so commonly going for this Gateway Expand. It's almost all he does right now.
Yeah, it's a strategy that Jaedong used almost every single game against NaNiwa until he was seen to go for like double gateways and stuff to try to counter it. But we do have a spawning pool opening here from Targa. Not sure what NaNiwa can be potentially up to here.
Exactly.
So he's just going to open up that. But if we just look at the map a little bit here, for anybody that hasn't really played it yet, there's a natural expansion that just kind of rolls off the tongue here, down from the main base, just straight down here where Targa's going to expand. There's a couple of third bases to take. For Zerg, they usually want to take this one to the left here. If you look at the minimap, we can see which way we're going. But there is one at the back, which is kind of hidden, which is a little bit more difficult to get to when it comes to rocks. You've got to kill the rocks on the base. You've got to kill rocks to get there. So it is a little bit more difficult to get towards. But that definitely is basically a pocket fourth base for the Zerg player in this circumstance.
Yeah, it's something that I've encountered quite a bit on when playing this map as well. It's interesting how easily you can have that fourth base if you've established yourself across the 3. But that being said, it comes at the cost of that third being a little bit more vulnerable. So we'll see what NaNiwa wants to do here. His goal might be to pressure that third base a little bit earlier.
It definitely could be. NaNiwa's known to put gateway pressure on once he expands, throwing down a couple of extra gateways. But in the same regard, when it comes to expansions, NaNiwa really can't expand out there. It's far too dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
So he will have to focus on killing the rocks behind his natural, and then kill the rocks again on the third base location. If he plays a very sentry-heavy style, and it goes for Phoenixes earlier on, he'll have a hard time breaking the rocks down fast, and it will delay his third base, which he loves to take early. So there's a lot of things that both of these players will need to focus on in this game.
Mothership Core will push those 2 Zerglings away, but they do get full confirmation of pretty much what's going on from his opponent. Seeing that Nexus timing means that Targa now knows what's up. He's getting gas, and he'll soon see the Stargate as well.
He's still mining gas too. I mean, he's mining quite a lot of gas very early on here. Granted, he is playing against a Gateway Expand, but he's now seen that the Stargate's coming down really early on. This means that there's not going to be any Gateway pressure to pressure any third bases, so Targa is open to taking a third if we don't see a Void Ray coming out. So upon seeing this, I definitely expect him just to get out of gas, don't try anything funky, get Zergling speed to be safe, and then approach the game from here on out and definitely look for a third base.
And these Zerglings to the left-hand side looking for pylons as well, just to make sure that NaNiwa's not up to anything, or at least probes is what he is on the hunt for.
Yeah.
And that Forge going down as well, that has indeed been seen by Targa.
And that's, again, not gateways right after that Stargate, which, again, fuels the idea that there isn't going to be any early aggression in this game.
So, for now, Targa can feel very, very comfortable considering his third base. And I did not see a Phoenix in production there. But NaNiwa has been opening up quite a few Phoenix with these Stargates before. Sometimes mixes it up to go for Void Rays at the very beginning. But I like the Phoenix opener to kick things off.
All right, well, Phoenixes are going to come out, and they will start to harass any Overlords around the map, but it's a new map which maybe these players haven't had too much experience on. I think that NaNiwa's played roughly 70 ladder games so far on his main account, you know, and then considering there's other and older maps in there too, we don't really know how many times he's played on this map. So does he know where all the Overlords are going to be? Does he know where to place the probes and stuff? Because he's already missed one Overlord on the right there, hasn't he?
He missed the one at the back as well, so this is exactly it's a bit of a bad sign here for NaNiwa. This Overlord's trying to get a good scout up in the main, but doesn't really have anything to see right now. But as you said, different map, not knowing where the Overlords might be 100%. It's a huge difference compared to those maps you're experiencing.
Well, look at this probe. Was this probe looking for a third base?
He's got a lot of minerals.
Yeah, he definitely had, and then he threw gases down as soon as the probe was spotted there. Targa on top of things and building quite a few Zerglings here. I think he kind of realizes that NaNiwa might be on the hunt to take a fast third base in this game. It's very, very early. He's only got one gateway and one Stargate, an incredibly early third base, but that's not going to work at all in this game with 22 Zerglings out.
No, certainly not. These Phoenix are posing a little bit of a threat over here, but at the same time, the Spore Crawlers are on the way. That is a lot of Zerglings out here for Targa.
If NaNiwa tries to move out with a handful of Sentries and Zealots to take a third base, which Targa, I think, has really felt that may be happening here, he can really deal a big blow to NaNiwa.
Yeah, he certainly could do. And now these Phoenix trying to pick up one Queen that moved out of position to spread creep. Very, very nice. No spores there to defend that. Second lift did have to go off because there was that third Phoenix only, not a fourth. So a little bit of a tough spot. Yeah,
NaNiwa's definitely abandoned plans. He's seen all the Zerglings now. He's going to have to use a Force Field here most likely unless he wants to lose the Sentry or a Pylon. And the Mothership Core will come in. Another Sentry has been warped in. But NaNiwa's not expanding anytime soon. Targa's playing this map really nicely with these additional Zerglings, keeping NaNiwa back. He knows that NaNiwa can't expand to the back very easily. He knows NaNiwa can't expand to the right-hand side very easily either. And I like the addition of these early Zerglings. Yes, they lowered his drone count a little bit, but he's replenished. He's got double Forge down. He's got his lair in the way. I like his approach so far.
And a few more gateways get added on as well here for NaNiwa, whilst he's once again sends another probe out here to try and claim this third base. But the Zergling instantly spots the pylon going down next to it, so Targa still knows about NaNiwa's plans for the most part.
NaNiwa's intentions 100% revealed. What will Targa do now? Because I don't think it's wise to build units anymore, because +1's going to finish. The Zerglings won't be able to beat too many Zealots, but he is doing a great job delaying the third base for sure. But he's got 26 Zerglings coming in. Ooh. He is going to try to pressure. He's going to try and put more pressure on this. I don't think this is the best decision, though. 26 Zerglings, if NaNiwa warps in a couple more Zealots with the Mothership Core and a Void Ray backing that up, I think that the Zealots should be fine to take this third. But I guess flanks, counterattacks may work.
Anything you can try. I mean, these Zerglings still moving around in the middle of the map. There's a flood of Zerglings moving across the map here as well. That one Void Ray is going to have a field day, but it doesn't kill these Zerglings fast enough if they go for the aggression. He saw a lot of those Zerglings with the Phoenix.
Yeah, he does. He knows exactly where they are now, so he needs to make sure he is walled in at home. He can warp in some more Zealots. I think NaNiwa's fine here, and I think that maybe those Zerglings are a little bit wasteful here, but ooh, NaNiwa's out in the open. He's got his units surrounded.
Ooh, he did get a few of them surrounded, but at the same time, Zealot's going to try and deny a fourth base, and they do deny it. That drone runs away after cancelling. Interesting location of that fourth base, trying to take there from Targa, to be honest with you.
Yeah, definitely interesting here. Could have used some Zerglings to kill the back rocks. This is never really going to work out for him here, as NaNiwa's got Archons on the way. Very good against Zerglings, remember now. He's got +1 attack, Zealot speed about to finish. Targa feels the pressure. He is getting Spine Crawls down, and this in the back will allow NaNiwa to expand too.
Yeah, this army is actually pretty strong. 42 army supply against 45. Those spore crawlers and spines that are going up here have to be up in time to deal with
He's got to get a good surround here, otherwise he's going to lose his base.
Yeah, these zealots are going to do a lot of damage here. Plus one weapons finish. Carapace is just about to finish for those Zerglings as well, though. That'll make a big difference.
4, 3, 2, 1. It's going to finish in seconds time, and he does get a pretty decent round, but the Archons move back and hug the wall.
Very, very nice positioning there by NaNiwa, and at the same time trying to move forwards, picking up a lot of those queens. How much damage is he going to get done? There's not really that many Zerglings left over.
Well, NaNiwa seems to be pushing through here, and Targa in a bit of trouble. He's got a lot of units on the way, though. He needs to hold this third base. He cannot let this die. He cannot let this fall down.
All he's got is Hydralisks, but they're not enough to tank the damage, and the third base is going to fall.
And very easily from this is the recall will be attempted, won't work. And I don't know if he can get out with these units, but still, he's really dealt a critical strike to Targa here.
Oh, the resources lost is monumental in favor of NaNiwa here. 5,500 against 2,100. Yes, he'll lose the majority of these units here, if not all, but still, really good economical damage done.
And the most important part for NaNiwa here is just to go back to his third and defend it.
Yeah.
Get ready to defend. He's going to have +2 attack. He's just now finished up with Storm from his Templar Archive 2 and warping in a couple High Templar. All he needs to do is control the amount of units that come from Targa, and no matter what happens from this position, he'll be in a very good spot. Very good, actually.
Yeah, certainly so here. Targa now moving into a position to, I guess, try and poke around, but with this third base down and with his economy shattered in comparison to NaNiwa's, I don't know how he can do this. He has to try and do some damage, but at the same time, his opponent's upgrades are good. As you said, he has Storm. His composition's going to be good. Yeah. NaNiwa's in a great spot.
He's heading on a lot of gateways too now, but there was a run by attempt to the natural here. The warping at the last moment did catch it, so these Zerglings won't do anything. Hydras come down. They won't do anything here. Very good position for NaNiwa to be in.
These charge lots holding their own very nicely.
Oh man, I'd actually be so eager as NaNiwa to force field those and kill them off. So eager in that position, but he doesn't know how many units are out there, though, in case he was to get surrounded. But confidence can sometimes hurt you.
And that Archon took a lot of damage, but now he's recharging his shield, so that's a very efficient trade there by NaNiwa.
I mean, just look at the income, too, man. Look at the income difference.
So good.
It's very, very good for NaNiwa.
Very good indeed. And he's setting up proxy pylons once again to try and go for assaults.
Oh, wait, he's just got Storm. I thought he had that before.
Did he not? Oh, okay.
I swear I saw it. I'm seeing things. I'm sorry.
Oh, well. First day.
It's my first day on the job, guys. Season 3.
Okay, loses a Phoenix as well, and has to cancel some of these pylons. Thankfully for Targa, these have been spotted over to the right-hand side, so not really much damage can be done there. And he is taking his fourth once again up to the top left, but I still think that this fourth base up to the top left is too vulnerable for him to try and... I don't think he's going to allow it to go up if he scouts.
I think so too. I think he should have killed the back rocks and taken the one that's hidden further away here. But remember, if this game was to go on very long and he's able to successfully mine from that base in the middle, then he can always use that as a backup expansion later on and get more money later. So there are benefits of taking the one out there in the open, but in this area, is he really going to get to late game?
I don't know. It's going to be difficult because NaNiwa now is gathering a lot of momentum. And as soon as he maxes out, he can move across the map with +3 weapons and all of these zealots. And his army is huge. Well, I mean, it's 105 army supply to 107. But unit-wise, the power behind it is so strong.
Yeah, and the zealots have zealot charge. Fantastic. It's my favorite upgrade.
Best one. And he's not going to go for the engagement in the end. Oh, well.
Yeah, NaNiwa is so comfortable on 3 bases here. He has an army that I don't think can be stopped here, if I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, what do the Roaches really have? +1 Carapace. The Zerglings have +1 attack, but there's hardly any of them anyway. Yeah. He had to change his composition upon seeing Archon. So Targa's plan and strategy has been foiled here just by seeing so many Zealots and Archons.
Yep, and he's trying to set himself up a good concave here, and he does have it, but that's a lot of firepower that NaNiwa has. Storm is finished. Oh, and 2 good Storms landed on a lot of those sorts of stuff, along with a good set of force fields and Storms as well. NaNiwa, he just monster modes through a lot of that army.
Yeah, there's no Hydras left. The Void Raid's going to go crazy. And to be honest, that probably wasn't the best fight NaNiwa could take because the Arc was so good from Targa, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. There's 26 Roaches coming in, so... Oh dear.
Uh-oh.
We swooped and scanned over to that, and it's going to survive just about here, I think. Just about.
Yeah, there was 1 or 2 transfuses on there. I don't think he ended up needing those, but any little counts here. As NaNiwa, still, he just recuperates his losses, and now his army supply, 101 to 86, with the power behind it. This is difficult.
NaNiwa, the leading non-Korean in the WCS system, is coming for the kill now, Kalaris.
Oh, yeah.
170 supply to 147. He's on 3 bases. He's content with being on 3 bases. He wants to end this now and pick up the first map of Season 3.
3-base Protoss can be scary sometimes.
Oh, now look at this. He's going to walk Prism into the main base and say, "What's up, Targa?" And then he's going to come attack from his main forces. A beautiful move here from NaNiwa, almost sealing the deal.
Yeah, he's just pulling him everywhere. NaNiwa playing out game number 1 so well. And again, this is a map where establishing a 3rd base as a Protoss can be pretty difficult. But he's played it out very, very well indeed, getting a lot of this tech in the main base. The army's nowhere near to defend this.
No, he's going to lose everything. And if he goes back to defend, NaNiwa goes to the left flank of this map and will wipe up everything if his opponent stands still. Likewise with NaNiwa. But with NaNiwa making the Colossus switch, that is the 100% 1,000th nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
Because there is nothing to deal with Colossus. Nothing at all.
It's the kill move. It's absolutely the kill move. NaNiwa kills off another base. These Zealots are even going to get the layer. He lost his Hydralisk Den, and now he's going to lose his layer as well. So much damage has been done. It's going to be so hard to recuperate his tech as well. Very difficult. Yeah, so I feel that Targa's almost pushed into a situation where he's lost his tech, he's lost a lot of economy, but he still has an army, which I think he's just going to throw at NaNiwa very shortly. And with good force fields and good control of that army, NaNiwa should have absolutely no problems with dealing with it here, because Targa's running out of options, and that must be, and it is, to be honest, his only option left, just to attack. Yeah, prime example, bringing the Queens along just for transfuses. He pulled them pretty much all off the hatcheries just to try and do any little bit of damage he can do. Keep his units alive for as long as possible, because he knows this is it. Yeah, NaNiwa changing up his style, though. Not too many Void Rays. Good to see. Yeah. He does have a bit of variety still here. It seemed like he was playing one style only. I think that's really smart against a player who definitely would have focused on how to play against it. Yeah. Zergling heavy style, great against how NaNiwa usually plays, but not in this game here. Not at all, as Roaches are approaching the left and right-hand side, coming for a big, big attack. NaNiwa attacking on the other side, man. He does not care. No, not at all. These two Colossi should be able to hold them at bay for quite a while, warping in some units on the ramp so they can't get to those Colossi. And, well, killing off a few probes as well, but still doing damage at the natural. All those Zealots do get cleaned up, and these Roaches get cleaned up and incinerated very fast. Oh, look at this on the right-hand side. Just storms coming down. Absolutely annihilation here. Everything's dead. Everything is dead, and NaNiwa's 80 supply ahead. What a game to open it up. NaNiwa plays absolutely beautifully, and game one goes to the Swede. Yeah, very good game there from NaNiwa. But let's, you know, NaNiwa played great for sure, but I love the way that Targa changed his play from usual to adapt a little bit towards NaNiwa. The 1-1 Zergling upgrades is very good, even though it was kind of a bit disjointed as Plus 1 Carapace came out first and then the melee later. Yeah. Together as one, it's very, very good against a player who's going Mass Void Rays or Phoenixes, doesn't matter which, and Zealot Sentry to take a third base. So Targa's game plan from the very get-go was to delay NaNiwa from taking a third base on a map that is difficult to take a third base. It was a solid plan. Yeah. Definitely. But the Archon switch and the very early Twilight Council and Templar Archives completely threw him off. And then we had to see him tech switch over. He couldn't defend his third base before he could react. And then from there, the game just fell apart. He was, I mean, going into the mid-game, he was always anticipating a lot of Void Rays. Going Zergling Hydralisk in this matchup, it has been around for a while, but it is more so here nowadays to try and deal with that. Even then, though, it's very, very difficult. So Targa just got stuck between a rock and a hard place, man. Yeah, it was a bit brutal, to be honest, there from NaNiwa. But what do we expect from the ranked number 12 in the world at the moment? NaNiwa, just a different league to Targa, some may say. Of course, you know, NaNiwa beat Innovation at the Season 2 finals. I mean, what more can you say, right? But going into the next map, Derelict Watcher, a map that is, again, very difficult for Protoss to play on, but it is NaNiwa versus Targa. Let's see if NaNiwa can live up to his expectations and clean up a 2-0. I think a lot of people are expecting him to do so. Yeah, I'm expecting him after that map as well. Very, very impressive play, as we did get to see a new map, technically new map for our first map. And actually, you know, casting that, it was very exciting. Just because of the map alone. Yeah. Haven't cast a map. Haven't cast it before. So, cool stuff. First time. All right, guys, let's jump into game number 2 to see if NaNiwa can take it the 2-0, as we have spawning down to the bottom left-hand corner here, our blue Zerg, representing Norway and Dignitas. He is Targa. And up to the top right, our red Protoss, representing the Alliance and Sweden. Currently 1 game up, he is NaNiwa.
NaNiwa played in all 3 seasons, round of 16 in the first season, and then he got top 5 and was able to qualify for the Season 2 finals, did very well there, and now he's in Season 3. Targa, on the other hand, though, you mentioned all his qualifier runs.
Oh, yeah.
It's his debut in the Premier League, and his debut goes up against the best non-Korean StarCraft 2 player.
Certainly a
It's
tough
a difficult one, yeah.
It's interesting because his run through all the qualifiers, again, played in absolutely every single one apart from one. I imagine he was sick, or it was someone's birthday, or he was at a wedding, anything like that. But he beat out amazing players, people like Genius and Stardust during these qualifiers. So it's not that Targa can't bring it to the table. NaNiwa's just playing very, very well right now, and Game 1 exemplified that.
Yeah, I mean, last year when Targa got top 4 at DreamHack Valencia, beating 4GG, Lucifron, and Hero, I mean, that just shows us that it's definitely in him that he can do it. And he's beaten 4GG recently. Just in Challenger League, he beat him. Definitely, you know, Targa has what it takes within inside him, but can he unleash the beast here on the main stage of the Premier League?
Can he indeed? He's certainly a beast, man. Have you seen his weightlifting videos?
I've seen some videos, yes, I have.
That's some scary stuff. He can lift a lot.
Are we going to see 3 hatcheries here?
I think we may do.
Yeah, we will.
Yep, he's sending out the other drone. So what we were saying before, and Mr. Spawning Tool, or actually it's a tool, but it's certainly right. This is what Targa likes to do, and he got the confirmation in Game 1 that, hey, maybe he's going Gateway Expand, and, you know, he decides that he is, so it's going to be that 3 hatcheries.
Yeah, it's good. It's definitely a very good build against NaNiwa's style, but NaNiwa can definitely do things about it. If we look at his cybernetics core right now, it's halfway through being complete. As it completes, he'll have 100 gas, and I guarantee you he'll build the Mothership Core. A Zealot and a Mothership Core can do a lot of damage together.
Oh, yeah.
They can slow the Zerg down just by, you know, picking off a potential Queen, any drones transferring, and then if NaNiwa sees this and then probably decides to throw down extra gateways behind it, I'm pretty sure NaNiwa will look to do some pressure to this. I'm expecting gateways to come down instead of the Stargate this time.
Certainly, and NaNiwa now with his Zealot already out, and his Nexus going down. He can on that Mothership Core right now, so there we go. Cranking that out, even chrono boosting it, so if he wants to go for that aggression after seeing, because he's going to see this very quick while. He's going to the natural, depends on where he goes to the 3rd base, but he'll see the spawning. No,
well, the thing is, as a Protoss player here, you either go up and check the 3rd base. It's kind of normal to do so. Yeah. I'm not sure why he chose to go to the natural first, but he'll definitely go up there and be like, hold on a minute.
Hello.
Hold on. You've got 3 hatcheries down really early. And the Zealot immediately goes over. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure the Mothership Core will follow it too. And I'm even more sure that we'll see extra gateways come down. I don't think that he throws a Stargate down upon seeing this. Look, 2 extra gateways. He's going to pressure it. He's got a probe out on the map. He's going to say, you can't do this to NaNiwa. Speaking to himself in 3rd person, you can't do this to NaNiwa.
No, you can't, man. And NaNiwa's going to say that. And he's going to try and pressure this 3rd base, but and we'll see how Targa's going to react to this. He has to anticipate something like this is going on. 3 Queens are coming down, good for defense. Going to be hard to get over there, though. And the Zerglings start to attack away, but...
Nice micro by Targa.
Yeah, very nice.
Really nice there. But we need to see that probe throw down that pylon very shortly here. The Mothership Core will have a time warp available. That's usually very good against a single... Oh, 1 drone.
Oh, no. Oh, nice save.
Nice save there.
Very nice.
Where's that pylon? He hasn't thrown it down yet.
Seemingly not. Maybe he was wanting to try and provoke a response out, but there we go.
He's definitely got it coming down. But Targa did get gas very early, though. It was 3 hatcheries, gas, then spawn and pull. So he does have Zergling speed on the way. And Zerglings. If he's able to... We've seen it as well. Actually, he's going to get the probe and the pylon.
Oh.
Beautiful.
Wow.
He's got a... NaNiwa needs to warp in immediately there.
Yeah,
he actually needs to warp in straight away.
And he should be able to. His
or is he going to give it up?
Just warping in.
He has to.
Okay, so he's going to warp in some here, and meanwhile, the Mothership Core died off to the Queen as well. Not the best start here for NaNiwa. He's forced a lot of Zerglings out, but...
And he isn't doing any... He actually needs to abort this, because there's too many Zerglings out. 16 on the way. But I would say this is a good start for Targa. Yes, he did lose his Queen, but he's cleaned up this without taking any major losses here.
And in the process during all of this, he saw the Stargate. He has seen what his opponent's doing. Granted, he could probably guess that was going to be occurring from NaNiwa anyway, but still, it's good to get the confirmation here. The Zerglings trying to wrap around these Zealots, not getting too much done and will be forced away eventually. Oh, but that being said, there's a lot of reinforcements on the way.
Yeah, he built a lot of Zerglings here.
Oh, and he actually gets them completely. A very, very nice position here for Targa, forcing that force field out as well. Even more sentries warping in, a lot of gas expended.
Yeah, there's a lot of gas wasted here because he would have loved to throw down additional Stargate units here. He's only got one Phoenix that slowed him down a little bit. He probably would have liked to get the Forge and a +1 attack soon too. So things have slowed down a little bit for NaNiwa. So great use of defensive units, which Targa used offensively there. So very nice setup. He's got his Spores and Overlords on the way too. Not bad here, not bad from Targa, but what's his tech choice? That's the question I'm asking. He's set up economically, but is it double evolution chambers and link upgrades? Is it straight to layer? I think layer now.
Yeah, I would go with that and just straight to the Hydralisk Den again. I think that's probably where Targa's going to find most safety against what he's seen thus far. But double the second, well, actually, that's only the first Forge, isn't it, for NaNiwa? So yeah, just getting those upgrades going.
Just getting the upgrades going. Targa did deny the probe from getting the third base down as well here. And even a couple of Zerglings do attempt to get into the natural, but do get denied there. But so far, so good. The third base does come down from NaNiwa. But in this position, as a Zerg player, the way that you should approach this is don't try to be too aggressive. 20 Zerglings, I think, can work here because NaNiwa's slowed down. But after that, focus on upgrades, focus on getting the Hydralisk Den down, and a big Hydralisk attack. 20 Zerglings you can expend here, definitely.
And with the Roach Horn going down, there's no room for him to just try and do any Roach attacks or anything like that at this point. Because there's always going to be Void Rays and stuff, right? Yeah,
I mean, you can go Roach Hydra.
Yeah.
You can go Roach Hydra, sometimes better against very heavy Zealot style, so it does make sense.
Yeah.
But definitely focus on just getting your economy up and running. I mean, Targa's at 56 drones. He's about to have 65. And that's pretty good for him. I mean, these 20 Zerglings definitely threatening. But overall, he really needs to get the Hydralisk down ASAP if he wants to fight against NaNiwa here, who clearly likes to play Stargate units. But Templar Archives again. Do you know what? Roach is great against this. Roach Hydra great against this. Roach Infestor great against this.
It's interesting, though, because I feel that Targa's layer was a little bit later than I was anticipating, and NaNiwa, I didn't...
He actually mistimed his gas a little bit, is the answer to your late layer. I was looking at it.
Right, okay then. Well, Targa, he is still threatening with these Zerglings. NaNiwa playing very defensively with his positioning of his gateway units, but he has to. He absolutely has to.
All right, so Targa pokes in now. He sees Stargates or Void Rays being built, but he hasn't seen additional Stargates.
Yeah.
But he's thrown down the Infestation Pit just because he may realize, oh, if he's playing the same style as last game, Roach Hydra is very good against this. Starch Roach Speed gets the Infestation Pit. He's building what it takes to beat NaNiwa at the moment. This is very, very nice. I think he sees the lack of Stargate units now. He's seen one Void. He's like, one Void Ray? Is that it? Just one now?
If there was any more... It's certainly, if there were any more Stargates, there would be certainly a few more Void Rays than that. Maybe even just the 3 that would have come out from that initial cycle. But NaNiwa now morphing in those Archons as well. Did these Zerglings actually see any Archons?
I think NaNiwa's a little bit too slow here, unfortunately, unless he doesn't see this. But he's already started his Roach production. He's already got a great economy here. Targa's in great position. A few more Overlords and then a bunch more Roaches. I think he actually beats everything there very easily. NaNiwa would have to recall.
Yeah, he certainly may have to. Fourth base is going to go down for Targa at the south here, but with these Roaches in production, NaNiwa, this is a very open map in the middle, especially with this creep that Targa has set up in the middle here as well. If he positions his Roaches well enough, this could absolutely just obliterate this army.
Yeah, he's got to be. Both players have to be careful here, but Targa definitely is going to look to crush this. Where's the Mothership Core? It needs to be close.
It's coming back here to try and help out, and I think he has to recall. Whoa, Time Warp.
One Time Warp. Doesn't want to use another one for sure.
Exactly, because then he can actually recall out here. Not too bad force fields. Actually, really good force field separating up a lot of that army, but he just doesn't have the firepower to deal with. Whoa, wait a minute. He has to wait for the second Time Warp.
Well, he's got to be careful because I think he'll lose everything.
Yeah.
There's too many Queens. There's too many Roaches.
I'm really, really surprised that he went for the second Time Warp here. If these Roaches continue on, they could kill off a lot of this.
I think Targa counterattacks, man. I think Targa picks up this game, Kalaris. He's got a massive army. He's got a lot of Roaches on the way.
That being said, though, 3 Void Rays now in production because he added on those Stargates. So there is the opportunity for NaNiwa to be defensive if Targa now says, haha, you're not going for Stargates again. I'm not going to make any Hydralisk. I'm just going to go pure Roach. Yeah,
but with the Hive on the way, he can very easily go up to Vipers, pull them into the Queens because there's a lot of Queens here. Targa's definitely got an advantage in this game. Definitely could tie the series up here if he plays this out smartly, but it's not over yet for NaNiwa. Is behind in supply, is behind in overall numbers. but Void Rays are good. Very good.
They certainly are. And these Roaches are now trying to power through here. They see double Void Ray come out at exactly the same time. So he has to have confirmation now, as well as seeing it here too. So Targa building that Hydralisk Den, trying to get that going with those 2-2 upgrades, trying to do some damage. Roach is getting engaged into the middle of the map, but he's just killing off all of the ground army. Yeah,
this is very nice here play from Targa, going into the main base, splitting NaNiwa's army a little bit, picking off some straggling zealots. And now with Hydralisk coming in, there's a big timing here for Targa. The timing here is before Storm is done, because it gets a lot of Roach Hydra with 2-2. If you don't have Storm, it actually doesn't matter if you have a lot of Void Rays here. You need to have Storm at this point. And NaNiwa can't afford it. He doesn't really have the time. He doesn't have the space.
I feel that the one thing that could try and help win NaNiwa these engagements here is force field placement. If he can get that down, the Hydralisks right now do not have grooved spines. So that's perhaps one way that he can try and seal off this army and try and slowly cut at it. But other than that, other than the Storm that he doesn't have time for, as you mentioned, it's going to be a difficult engagement.
NaNiwa's found a probe out in the middle of the map here that's able to get down a couple pylons. These will be used to harass with zealots towards the 4th base of Targa, which has been established and is well up and running. But unfortunately here for NaNiwa, there's spines and spores on that 4th. That's not going to be broken easily. Look at that. That's a nice setup there. And with +3 attack on the way now, we're going to see a very powerful attack from Targa. +2 armor is almost done, and when that's done, he will attack. I promise you. He will attack, and he will look to do severe damage. And with the amount of money he's banking now maxed out, he will replenish very easily too.
And those are 4 Infestors here with the Fungal Growth. It's going to be a big damage dealer. If they can land on those Void Rays, very important to do so. We've seen NaNiwa actually get crushed by that during the Season 2 finals, I believe, against Jaedong. NaNiwa absolutely has to try and split these Void Rays up if he's going to go for
enragement. Need to be great here. They need to lock down the mass zealots. NaNiwa likewise needs to spread his units out against the Fungals.
Oh, and he's actually got a pretty good concave here, but as has Targa, nice Fungals lock down a lot of the Zealots as well as the Void Rays, trying to move back against this. Not too bad force fields, but in the end, I don't think they've pinned back too much there. And now, Targa just continues to kite on back further and further, but still, he doesn't have that much anti-air here.
No, there's only 4 Hydras there, but 20 on the way. If he can just get rid of this and get the 20 Hydras out there in time, he'd clean it all up. But he needs those Hydras out.
Oh, he killed off an Infestor there with full energy, I think. It might have been a Queen, but regardless of that. And NaNiwa here still moving on forward. It's a lot of firepower here. And he's actually killing off a lot of this army. 102 army supply to Targa for 88, but...
Targa needs his new units out. He needs them fast.
Roaches were doing some damage to the economy of NaNiwa behind all of this, but the main focal point is right here. That's the Hive. If all of this dies off, that is a lot lost.
Where are the Hydras? They're on the natural. Get over there. You need to do something, guys.
What is going on? NaNiwa making these Void Rays work out, and now Targa's supply blocked. These armies are very similar in size.
Wow, I definitely felt that Targa was very strong there, and I think he felt too. He's like, what the hell is going on? Void Rays are good.
And actually, these Hydralisks have just seen a lot of Archons warping in down to the south, so they can try and kill off some of those. Very nice pickup there for Targa.
But does he have enough Hydralisks? That's the question. He has 12.
Oh, I don't think so.
But there's 9 Void Rays.
I don't think he has enough.
And of course, one-on-one, the Void Rays are going to win all day long.
Yeah, there's extra expansions going up for Targa up to the top left-hand corner, and NaNiwa's moving back for now.
Okay, so yes, he lost the Hive. He lost the 3rd base, but losing the Hive isn't too important because he's already got all the tech he needs. And he's still got a decent income here. And NaNiwa did lose, 25-odd probes on his 3rd, too.
Yeah.
But the problem is he needs Targa, that is, to get more anti-air.
He certainly does. And with the +3 weapons finishing for NaNiwa as well, this army that he has it's just worked out. There's no other way to say it other than it's worked out, and it's very strong right now. I think if a direct engagement comes with some, does he have any force fields? He has quite a few sentries left as well. Wow.
Yeah, Archons have +3. Zealots likewise getting a lot of damage done. Storm is now on the way. That's where things get really difficult for Targa. Because yes, he has a good composition against what NaNiwa had. Didn't win the fight, but with Storm, that's almost impossible.
Exactly. Targa's just stuck in this mid-tier tech that, well, I mean, he's kind of limited and forced to be limited to that mid-tier tech because his Hive went down because he built it at the 3rd base. If he'd have built it at the main, then maybe, he would have been able to retain that during all of that. But now, that it's hurt him slightly. He could have, had Vipers coming out or something, anything to try and deal with this. But even Vipers wouldn't have been the best choice.
Yeah.
What would you go for from this if you're in the Zerg position?
Right now, you're in a bit of a difficult one.
Yeah.
You really are. I mean, I agree with the Infestor choice here. It's like he needs to lock down the Zealots coming in. He needs to lock down the Zealots coming in. He needs to hold back the Void Rays. He basically needs to hold back everything. He's got to get Neuroparasite too.
Wow.
Wow. I mean, sure, if he gets a couple of these Archons, I guess that's kind of good, but this is a difficult position for Targa. I really, really did like his position there, and I really think he did too.
Yeah, I think that he felt that he could... I guess he just allowed NaNiwa to kind of gain a bit more strength when he maybe should have attacked, or... I mean,
I don't think so. I think it's just the fight. It could have been a better fight for him.
Yeah?
That's all I really think that it could have been, a better fight.
Better concave setup, or...?
Yeah, I think Targa did nothing wrong when it comes to setting up before that fight.
Right.
And then it was just the fight. Great play by NaNiwa, great spread of units. No Fungals really did that much in the fight. The Queens were stuck, a lot of units were clumped up together. If he'd been spread out a little bit more like NaNiwa was, I think it could have been better for him. But this is really difficult for Targa. Now losing expansion to the top left. His income's going to drop down lower and lower again. I wonder if he can make a miracle fight with Neuroparasite.
Maybe.
Can he do that?
How many neurals is he going to have? He's going to have like 10 or so, right? So if he can like somehow hit all of the Archons and a lot of the Void Rays, or all of the Void Rays and a few of the Archons, any composition of that would do quite a lot, but still, Fungal's kind of important as well here for just locking down a lot of the Zealots. And there's always going to be High Templars for feedbacks.
Yeah, there's feedbacks, there's a lot of Storm. NaNiwa playing this very patiently because that's all he needs to do.
Yeah.
He just needs to build the right army, and it's up to Targa, it's up to Zerg players to attack the Protoss player in this position. The Protoss player doesn't need to attack you unless he knows it's going to be a clear win. And of course, NaNiwa will be walking in to a better setup and a better arc of units where he wouldn't do nearly as much damage as if Targa was to walk into him. So NaNiwa's in a very good position here, making his switch over to Colossuses as well. Let's have a look at the anti-air now. It's 9 Queens, 12 Hydralisks, a lot of Infestors, a lot of energy for Infested Terrans too. I'm sure we'll see Infested Terrans come out with this amount of Infestors.
And NaNiwa has established himself that 4th base with a lot of cannons and a Void Ray to defend. So Targa's attempts at trying to shut that down with a handful of roaches are going to be futile. And he hasn't really got full information as to what Targa's absolute composition is. He keeps sending out a few hallucinated Phoenixes and maybe a real Phoenix, but he hasn't seen it fully yet.
Well, there's the Warp Prism down here, and this shouldn't be able to do too much. Maybe going to cancel on the space, but maybe not here. Oh no, he is actually going to get it.
Nice.
It would be nice to stop that Warp Prism, because that's going to be a pain in the bum for the entire game.
Oh yeah. And interestingly enough here, we just had a Swarm Host pop out. So 2 Swarm Hosts are currently trundling around in the middle of the map. They did get Evolve Enduring Locusts, but I'm not sure they're going to do too much.
2 Locusts here really don't do anything.
Yeah. And NaNiwa, I mean, even mixing in Fleet Beacon, mixing in Colossi, just covering every single angle necessary.
Yeah.
Whilst his army, 145 to 144 supply, it's so much stronger than Targa's army. What can Targa do?
Yeah, that's what I'm just trying to think about what he can do. He needs to take a good fight, and he needs to just kind of see how many units he destroys. It really is going to come down to Targa's fast thinking, because he'll need to address of what units he kills in the fight and then rebuild the right ones.
Well, these Infestors are just accruing a ton of energy, and they've almost maxed out in that regard. Even more Swarm Hosts going down as well. So with the Swarm Host coming out, Targa's saying, I can never win a fight for a long time. So I need to stall out and somehow make myself the ultimate army, I guess. But I still don't even think that works here, because NaNiwa always has all the time in the world as well behind this. The
problem with Targa's ultimate army building, or as you said, with getting Swarm Hosts out, is that I think he's very vulnerable to just a straight-out, hammer attack from NaNiwa.
Yeah.
The amount of storms, the amount of damage he has in burst damage when it comes to Archons, Colossus, and Void Rays with Storm, I think NaNiwa would break through a couple of waves of Locusts very easily. And I think he'd be so exposed. Clearing off these roaches is fine. He's kind of looking to replenish them with Swarm Host, so he will lose a base to the top left, which is a bit of a sad news to tell you. But I wonder if Stormhost can work. I don't know if they can.
Jeez, this army is super, super strong. So many Archons, Colossi, Void Rays, High Templars. He has very little in terms of gateway units. Still another pokes over here for Targa trying to move around. But again, he has very little basic gateway units, I should say. No, not really that many Zealots, just a few Stalkers here and there. This is like a dream army for Protoss right now.
Oh, it really is. I mean, Targa needs so much time because he'd love to go to the ultimate composition, which is Vipers, Broodlords, Corruptors, you know, everything. And he's not really there anytime soon. He's got a long way to go. He's got a lot of money to do it. It's just the time. And I really think with NaNiwa getting the Dark Shrine out, which is going to harass these bases with Zealots, NaNiwa is going to start to get a bit eager because he likewise has a lot of money. I really think, though, that NaNiwa wants to take a new base soon. He's run out of money in terms of income as he's lost his main, and naturally he is starting to drip down a little bit, as you can see, 800 to 15. Definitely needs a new base or to win the game now. It's one of the two.
And a few more Roaches going to sacrifice themselves here, arguably for the greater good, but more because they wanted to go and try and harass this base. And NaNiwa moving over to this location, knowing that this is the one last bastion of hope for Targa. These bottom bases to try and get that income going. And, whoop, has to be careful. Swarmhosts are pretty good if they're left untouched, but still, this army's so strong once again from NaNiwa.
I mean, both of them do have a relatively strong army here.
Yeah.
It will come down to the fight, as most things in StarCraft do come down to the fights now.
Oop, catches one Archon.
Couple of feedbacks coming in here. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, nice use of those High Templar. Very nice 2 High Templar there.
Very, very nice indeed. A few Fungals, once again, locking down some of these Archons. If you can kill off 1 or 2, that'd be not too bad for the trade of those Swarm Hosts. Locust even, but still, doesn't get too many.
NaNiwa sitting at only 10 gateway, or 10 warp gates and 3 gateways, actually, to be exact. Not that much reinforcement power there. Not at all a lot.
No.
I mean, he's been so low on money all game.
And this one Dark Templar going to work on the Infestation Pit now, realizing that his opponent was building off a lot of Swarm Hosts. Maybe he wanted to get some more, but in the end does not. Ultralisk Cavern even going down here for Targa, so just getting absolutely everything, throwing the kitchen sink in there as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's just, like I said before, whatever fight he takes with his 200 supply army, what he sees left over, he'll try to build the best unit against what he sees.
Yeah.
For example, if there's a bunch of Stalkers and Zealots, he'll build Ultralisks. You know, it just depends on what he sees. If it's Colossus left over with Zealots, Ultralisk, it doesn't matter. With the amount of Queens and Transfuses he has, that's very good, but it really depends on what he can kill off here. He needs to start doing something, some damage to NaNiwa's army. Remember, NaNiwa doesn't have an income. He doesn't have a lot of gateways. Any trades are good here for Target.
Gets 1 or 2 feedbacks. Storm goes down on Locust as well. Makes a smile occur on any Zerg player's face when you storm Locust, but the Infestors still try and catch some of these Archons.
Really not doing anything there, though. They're losing more than they're gaining.
Oh, especially when you lose some of those Infestors to the feedbacks. Very nicely done by NaNiwa.
Yeah, NaNiwa's control is phenomenal. Always is.
And, oh, that's a really nice fungal actually on that army, but it still doesn't really matter too much. NaNiwa just moves forward saying, you can't deal with this with only Swarm Hosts. Lands a few Storms on it, kills 1 or 2. Very well done.
But now Broodlords are out. If he can keep the Void Rays away from them, maybe.
Maybe.
But still, NaNiwa's control, you know, just world class as always.
And those drones have to evacuate that base now, realizing that this army has breached and the hatchery will die off. And slowly, Targa's income does whittle down as well. Whoa, the Void Rays! They found the Broodlords! Catch 1 or 2 of them! And pull back.
Nice pick off there. A bit risky, but nice pick off. 4 Ultralists now coming out as well. Don't think the Ultralists are going to do too much here. I mean, the army has +3 attack and +3 armor for NaNiwa. The Ultralists are going to tickle them, really, considering they don't really have any attack upgrades themselves. They will tank a bit, considering they are kind of... they do have a lot of hit points and +3 armor themselves, but they don't deal out much damage at all.
Targa still trying to draw it out and sending Locusts where he can to move NaNiwa away from certain locations, trying to establish that base down to the south again here. But NaNiwa, now, it looks as if he wants to actually be aggressive.
Oh, these Locusts doing a lot more damage here for the first time.
Oh, and he has to be very, very careful here. Storms do land, as well as some feedbacks. There's not really that much firepower here for Targa, as 126 army supply. Oh, another great storm has lot of Broodlords.
Yeah, Void Rays, man. Go to town. Go to town. Queens are gone. The anti-air is gone. The Void Rays stay strong. Sure, the Colossus go, and they're going to get beaten up by the Broodlords and stuff, but the Void Rays, they need to kill these Broodlords.
Yeah, and he's even bringing a few Stalkers in that he's just walked in fresh as well. just to try and blink under them, but realizing there's still the Swarm host there, doesn't want to risk too much.
Yeah, and NaNiwa didn't even lose all of his Colossus either. He managed to keep 3 alive with a couple of Archons underneath him. A very good trade there for NaNiwa once again.
These Void Rays could actually turn around and just kill off those Corruptors, but
there's no High Templar left though now, though. So Queens become more and more valuable in this game. They were consistently getting feedbacked, all the time getting feedbacked. But NaNiwa's changed his army composition now. Stalkers, Colossus.
It's just a never-ending cycle here. NaNiwa is happy to just keep that going, and this is going to make him a little bit more mobile, and why not just actually go and pick up this base here? The drones have to evacuate once again. Targa knows he doesn't have the army to combat this, so he has to try and siege it over Swarm hosts.
Yeah, and every time he sieges up, that's, you know, seconds for the Locust to get there. NaNiwa can always turn around and retreat. He can pick off the ones he feels he can.
And this kind of composition for NaNiwa is pretty good against the Swarm hosts, I feel, because he just blinks back against once his front line of Stalkers get weakened by this Locust. So he's not going to lose too much. He's going to be cost efficient. Yeah,
NaNiwa's going to come for a kill soon. He's up to 180 supplies, got his new High Templar in for Storm. And well, he's going to deal a lot of damage to these Locusts. Even the Colossus, you know, just one swipe and a good amount of them. They don't even do anything. Yeah. Okay, they killed a sentry.
A sentry. Good job, Locust. We'll see how much more you can do here in this engagement.
They aren't doing anything here. With blink backs as well.
Oh, they got Archon. Well, yeah, but still, it doesn't really matter, as those High Templars now gathering some energy as well. NaNiwa is in the driving seat. He's just...
with a new base being taken too.
It's been like this for the past 20 minutes. He has constantly been in the driving seat. There's no two ways about it. And Targa, he's been looking for ways in, valiantly, I would say, but it's just not there. NaNiwa is too strong to break.
Yeah. NaNiwa just looking really, really good in this game. Really good.
Sending the Zealots into the middle of the map here, as Targa will have to run away. He has a lot of Queens. I really like heavier Queen compositions. It's very cool to see. But when you don't really have that many units to back them up, not so much. It's going to be a bit difficult with only 99 army supply.
Well, NaNiwa's playing this out very patiently, making this, you know, almost a bit of a stinging wound here for Targa as he tries to figure out a way to deal with NaNiwa and what NaNiwa has, but look at that army. It's beautiful here. He's going to be able to crush everything.
Yeah, the Locusts come in maybe for one last hurrah here, as well as Time Warps, just to try and do some damage. There you go. GG, well played, and NaNiwa takes the series 2-0.
Yeah, a good, strong performance here from the Swedes. Yep. Picking up the first win, and we'll move on to the winners match, which is pretty good for him, pretty expected as well. A decent fight put up by Targa, but NaNiwa's the one that goes through.
Certainly is. And now we have our second series of the night. It's going to be Todd versus 4GG next.
That's right, XMG Todd going up against Millennium 4GG. This one should be a good one as well here. I'm expecting a lot of things from 4GG. Can Todd keep up with one of the best players in Europe at the moment? 4GG, absolutely amazing player, performed very well, represented Europe very well in Season 1. Had a bit of a downslide in Season 2, but is back for Season 3.
And we're all very familiar with Todd. So guys, join us after the commercial break when we shall have the showdown between XMG Todd and Millennium's 4GG.